Hey y'all, IrixGuy here, and welcome to the latest video within the IrixGuy Supports Entrepreneurs video series. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy, and share this video and any of my videos with others. Within this video, I'm going to talk about corporate job versus the entrepreneurial route. Now, to give you a quick background, if you weren't aware, I've got over 10 years of experience with a large company, Fortune 100 company, international company. And I've also got even more years of experience as an entrepreneur. And at the time of posting this video, my latest career pursuit is full-time social media. But what we're going to do within this video, and this may be beneficial if you're trying to decide, hey, where do I want to try to go in life? Maybe you're not even to college yet, or maybe you're past college. Maybe you're stagnant in a day job, and you feel that maybe if I did this or I did that, maybe it would be better. So we're going to go and we're going to look at the two realms: corporate job, entrepreneurship. We're going to look at them side by side, and we're going to look at some of the common pros and cons, and then we're going to break it down in a more granular fashion. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment by way of the comment section within this video's description, below this video where you post the comments, or you can go to my Facebook fan page, facebook.com/IrixGuy, my website, IrixGuy.com, and I'll try my best to respond either in the form of a comment or, hey, maybe a future video within this video playlist. So there's something, and we're going to look at the corporate job first. What often leads people towards a corporate job is the false sense of security. Because of the corporate job, there are typically benefits. There are typically somewhat normal work hours. There's probably somewhat consistent pay, and it's got that level of everybody knows it prestige. So whether someone's job title A, B, C, senior title, director title, CEO title, whatever title, those titles badge someone to the outside world. So if it's an industry, let's say it's it could be broadcasting, it could be information technology, it could be any type of corporate job, there's always the ladder. And there's the different job titles. And to anyone on the street, if you walk by and they said, "Oh, hey man, what do you do?" You say, "Well, I'm a director for company XYZ." They have a good feeling for who you are, your perceived status. Are you a successful business person, or are you ultra successful, semi-successful? And they know in their mind they can stereotype you professionally. The entrepreneur is a little different animal. It's quite a different animal. Because with an entrepreneur, one of the key things with entrepreneurship is finding opportunities that others may not even see. So the person that is with company XYZ, that is CEO or whatever type title, a perceived high-level position. And then there's Joe Bob, the entrepreneur, that invented whatever widget, and Joe Bob is a multi-billionaire. But when Joe Bob's on the street and somebody says, "Hey, Joe Bob, what do you do?" And you say, "Oh, well, I did blah, 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 invented this widget," they have no idea. Because it's not that corporate type badging: director, senior director, CEO, CFO, technician. So it's a lot of people go the corporate route just because they fit into what they feel from a career perspective, not just for themselves, but because of the perception of others. They feel that makes them who they are, and they feel that when they go to that job every day, that they're part of this ladder that's going to continue to enable them to advance. And for some people that works. But for some people, especially people that rapidly advance, there's always a top of the ladder. And the top of the ladder is controlled by that company. That company allows people to only go so far because there's only so much need within that company that they wouldn't pay someone to do a task that's not needed. And then if someone made it to the very top and they were, let's just say CEO of the company, is CEO enough? I mean, it's managing multiple presidents and vice presidents and financial officers and teams of managers and teams of technicians. But at the end of the day, is that job title and is that pay and the benefits, being the CEO, is it even worth it? And if you say it's probably not, then yeah, you definitely need to consider the entrepreneurial route. Now, the thing about the entrepreneurial route that's so great is that, and we're going to step into some disadvantages too. With the entrepreneurial route, a lot of people some personality types will feel, oh, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm my own manager, so I can dictate whatever you do and when you do it. And that is very true. And for a lot of people like myself, I consider myself to be a very efficient person. I'm very detail-oriented. I do everything in a step-by-step type procedure. That's just how I operate. That's how my mind operates. And if I'm performing task A on a Monday, and then a new task comes out on Wednesday that I'm working on for one of my projects, I can use the same methodologies that I use for a completely unrelated task for the new task, and I can be very efficient. What may take someone else days, hours or days to complete, I may be able to complete in a half hour just because of my methodical approach. And that's, to me, if you're torn between corporate and entrepreneurship, if you're the type person that you can be effective on your own, you're good with your own time management. You see an objective and you do whatever it takes, design whatever process it takes to exceed that objective. If you're that personality type, entrepreneurial route's the only way to go. Because if you have that personality type and you're in the corporate environment, a few things are going to happen. The most common scenario is that one is likely going to top out and they're going to become bored because they've mastered everything. There's just nothing else. And then the other thing is that there's the possibility that a company would realize that employee Joe Bob or Jane Bob is highly efficient. So then most probably what's going to happen is that the company is going to provide that person with an enhanced set of obligations knowing how efficient they are. And what happens in that scenario is that the person becomes burnt out because they've been overloaded with tasks. And obviously, companies are all about the bottom line. I mean, all they care about is numbers. When you're part of a company, you're part of a series of numbers. So you as an individual, you don't matter. I mean, you don't. And if you think you do, you're a fool. So in a company, you're just a number and you're a producer. And that's it. And if you're comfortable with that mentality, then a corporate job may be right for you, because there are perks. There's often benefits that companies provide. There's often if it's a company that has stock, there's often discounts for that stock for employees. There's often health care, and that's something in today's world that's extremely expensive on your own. But it's not cost prohibitive, and I wanted to mention that. I agree, healthcare is extremely overpriced. But if you think it's going to be a lot more on your own versus the versus obtaining it through a company, check the numbers and you may be surprised. It's probably still going to be more, but you may be surprised at the price difference. So don't let that be a prohibiting factor if you're ready to jump onto the entrepreneurial bandwagon. So it's a matter of also being able to see scale. Because everybody has an idea. And just because you have an idea as an entrepreneur doesn't mean that it's going to translate into money. So it's got to be something that one can prove that, okay, this can generate money. Step one. Step two, if it can generate money, how can it scale? Step two, take a look at that, see how rapidly it can scale. And then step three being, well, how can I consistently continue to scale whatever business venture up? And if you can put all that together, if you're intelligent enough and motivated enough as an individual to put all those pieces together and be able to develop a proven business model to where you can say, without stutter, okay, if I do this amount of task in this amount of time, then I can generate X percentage increase per day. If you can break it down like that, then you're on something. You're on to something that will likely be able to continue to appreciate and value. Not saying that every venture has to be profitable day one, because there are some situations where there are startup costs involved, and it may take a few weeks, it may take a few months, it may even take a year of somewhat stagnant earnings, or maybe earnings that even dip because of the initial overhead. But then, those can go from there to boom, almost vertical. So there's a lot of risk. Entrepreneurship is a risky venture because it's not backed by a large corporation that has potentially, let's just say, 80 years of profitable business. It may not have that track record yet because it's a startup. There's nothing really proven yet. But if it really kicks off, it's something that can create wealth, a level of wealth beyond what most people would ever be able to comprehend in their minds. And it's something with entrepreneurship, if you're going after it for the money only, it's probably not going to be a good thing for that person. You got to follow the passion. Figure out how to monetize that passion and just really push hard and innovate and take all of these ideas and put them together and create something greater than great. When you had the vision of this in your mind to start whatever, you had the vision. But it's taking that vision and further enhancing that vision in a way that you did not even feel was possible when you had the idea to begin with. And also think of a railroad track. And there's one track in the middle here. What I like to do is create parallel railroad tracks, meaning that this is the main track. This is the bread and butter, whatever venture it may be. Over here I've got a track, over here I've got a track, and then maybe I've even got more tracks. So if this track ever fail, there's a catastrophic failure in the engineering of that railroad section or whatever, I've still got this one, this one, this one, and this one. So combined, the value of those multiple streams of revenue will hopefully exceed the primary form of revenue. So if you can go after any venture, and you don't have to be a numbers guru, you don't have to be someone with a calculator or a background in mathematics or anything for that matter, or even business. You don't have to have a background in business. You've just got to have a business mentality, and you've got to be self-motivated. And if you've got that, entrepreneurship is definitely worth the risk, in my opinion. back to corporate. There are a lot of lessons that can be learned in a corporate environment. If it's something that someone wants to become an entrepreneur and they're afraid of taking that first step. The first step's the hardest. Jumping out there and saying, hey, I'm going to risk it all because I'm going to become filthy rich. If you do that, you're going to make it. But you don't necessarily, there may be an advantage to going the corporate route just for a little bit, just to get to see how things function, see how minds work. Not just minds at lower levels, but minds at higher levels, and see how it all comes together. Because one of the most intriguing things that I learned throughout 10 plus years in a large corporate environment is just all the personality types. I mean, you've got people that sincerely care about what they do, but you can tell that they're never really acknowledged for what they do. And to a lot of people, that's fine. To a lot of people, that's frustrating. You've got people that do little or next to nothing, and they're patted on the back and rewarded handsomely because of the way that they've mastered those corporate connections. Corporations, there's a lot of they know them and this sort of thing. And because I know them and I'm also know them, then I can make this person look good to them, and it's just kind of a circle of I'm trying to think of the best word to put it in a politically correct fashion. It's just a circle of nonsense. And then there's the people there's the career business person, the people that's all they care about. And if they weren't in a corporate environment, they just wouldn't be happy because they like the conflict. They feed upon the negativity that most corporations can provide. They feed upon that negative energy, and they spread that negative energy among many. Some people do it for power trip reasons. People want to feel powerful. People that aren't even powerful want to feel powerful and make others feel that they're powerful. And at the end of the day, in a corporate environment, all of these personality types, at the end of the day, when they're out of that corporation, the brick and mortar, when they're outside of that brick and mortar, they're probably some of the most miserable people you ever meet. And those are the people that when they're outside of that brick and mortar, those are the people meeting up with the entrepreneurs to go to the yacht parties, to go to the fancy events or whatever. And when you walk into those events, it's just normal people, just casual, laid back, happy-go-lucky people that are probably worth more than the CEOs of those companies. So it's a matter of, obviously, if you haven't gathered, I am pro-entrepreneur. But it's a matter of knowing yourself, being able to manage yourself from a process perspective, from a performance perspective, being able to find how to scale, obviously finding a business venture that's scalable first, finding how to scale it, how to monetize it, and then establish your exit point. Because is this a venture that you've created that you want to be married to for the rest of your life? Or do you want to create the next venture? What's next? Create something epic and then unload that epicness to go into the unknown again at hopefully a greatly superior financial level at that point and more confident level as an entrepreneur, and go with the next venture and then just keep going on and on. Or was the first venture enough? Did it provide enough financial relief to where nothing else is necessary to live an extremely comfortable life? That's decisions that you have to make on your own as an entrepreneur. And for me, and for many of my fans out there, you probably, if you watch a lot of my videos, you probably gathered I like to have a good time. But I like to have a good time, and it's not having a good time by going out and spending a lot of money. It's having a good time by experiencing nice things, good people, and ultimately just being a happy person. And the only way to accomplish that, in my professional opinion, the only way to accomplish true happiness is to be an entrepreneur. And again, it's not for everyone. Not everyone has the drive. But if you do, it can be a very rewarding experience. So share this video with others. This is just one of many videos in the IrixGuy Supports Entrepreneurs series. If there's a topic you would like me to address within an upcoming video, feel free to ask. Again, I've got over 10 years of Fortune 100 international company experience, and then obviously even more years of experience as an entrepreneur. So I appreciate your viewership, and be sure to subscribe, youtube.com/IrixGuy. And good luck with whatever y'all decide to do. Only you can make that decision on your own. Y'all have a good day.